Hello everybody, Darren here, and welcome back to City Skylines 2. Now today is expansion day. After building out our new industrial services area in the previous episode, we can now handle a pretty high volume of freight, and we've created a bunch of new jobs for our citizens, arguably too many. We're now poised for a big residential and commercial expansion centered around a brand new university. This is going to be a long one, but we do get a lot done, so without further delay, let's begin. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Blackwater. Now, I really want to get speeding up in this series, and I want to put out videos a bit more frequently. I'm trying my best, but I think I just get overly cautious and I try to really pre-plan a lot of stuff. And I think I just got to go with my gut in some of these things and just get these videos out a bit quicker, because progress is slow. We're still only at 8,500 people. We should be well into the 30k region by now. So basically, the plans are to start building out Hawkstown. This is going to be our medium density residential and commercial center with its own supporting sort of services, I guess, as the final piece of the puzzle for the western part of our town. Sorry, the western part of the river here, the southern part of our town, I guess. And then over across the river, we're going to have a higher density area over here for everything. And then push up, we'll have industry closer up towards the mountains. That's the overall idea. Not sure yet what's going to happen up here. We'll just play it by ear and see how things go. So effectively, in between episodes, I powered down some of these extra buildings that I've added because they were a real money drain. The game has updated since every time I put out a video, there's been an update, basically. So we're currently bleeding about $5,000 to $6,000 per hour, basically. And we're currently January, 2 p.m., so the sun is basically setting, so I've turned off the day and night visuals. We just have a standard kind of visual for now. And, you know, in a month or so, we're going to be well into spring and everything will be a bit better. So, recycling center is offline because we didn't need it. I just used it to kind of fill out that industrial area. Same with this. The post-sorting facility, I believe, is actually being patched and it should kind of work now. But apparently, you have to trigger it by putting down a brand new post office, I think. So, we'll maybe do that. This area could definitely do with its own post office. We do have one already up here. And that's working just fine, so 8 out of 20 vehicles in use. We'll have to add some extra mailboxes further down the town, because I don't think I ever added any. Yeah, I haven't even really. I think even this area could maybe do with one extra one. There's one right here, but maybe over towards the college or something, or just towards the commercial area down here. I don't know. We'll think about it in a moment. Very last thing then to touch on would be that our industry sector at Salford. I'm gonna get, my brain's gonna be broken on that one, I feel like, for a while. I had pointed out that we have high resource costs, right? That's what these little pips are telling us. And I'd lowered the taxation rates for the wrong thing. So that was my bad. I just had a bit of a brain fart or tunnel vision, because in the taxation screen, I've lowered the taxes for pretty much all of our local industry. To about 8%. Some of them are on 6, I guess. But to about 8% for the raw materials that we bring in. But I forgot to do it for coal and rock. So I feel like that's why these guys are complaining. So I've just changed it now. We'll give it a little bit of time. Maybe they'll balance out now that rock is cheaper tax-wise. They are complaining that it's expensive to obtain. And that only happened when we got our train station, the cargo terminal. So maybe it's just become a more competitive market now that they can ship their resources to other cities or something. I don't know. But either way, we'll just leave it for a little while, see how it plays out. And then these ones are saying that they don't have enough customers. I noticed the commonality between them is that they're all doing plastics. So my solution is to get rid of one. And then hoping that a different commercial building is going to pop up. And now these guys have more customers to sell plastic to. Because it's not just, customers don't just buy anything, right? If there's too many that are all the same type of thing, I would imagine that that's going to be a problem, right? This one's plastic as well and it has the same issue. So my guess is we want to kind of space out where the plastic buildings go. Obviously, I can't determine what's going to come in other than just influence it with taxes. So we got rid of 2 plastic commercial buildings. And hopefully we'll just leave it with 2 and see again. With a bit of time, does that balance out? Do they get more customers arriving? That's the theory. Let's leave it now for a while. Okay, so let's continue building down here, or start building down here, rather. We have to do a little bit of terrain flattening, because this was actually brought up in a previous comment of the previous video, and I do generally agree with it, which is, if you're going to play realistically, I thought you were going to build with the contour lines. And that's true. I'm aiming to do that. I mean, this is why the town is shaped irregularly, not on a big grid. It's because I have been trying to follow the contour lines as best as I can. But of course, some landscaping has to occur, and I may do a lot when it comes to big industrial areas like this. I think this is what the person was referring to, which is you flatten this wide, massive area out. But I do think that that would generally happen for a large industrial complex, or it would be chosen to be placed on a flat land. Unfortunately, there just isn't really many locations that we could really fit much, because everything's super hilly, effectively, right? And it's just a constant hill that goes all the way up. Now, things in real life can be built on hills, and dynamically, dynamically, you can put things in buildings further up, and parts of the complex could be raised or lowered. Obviously, the game builds in these massive plots, like the university. Look how huge it is. So we have to level off some terrain here. Otherwise, the building is going to be really misshapen when you place it down. It's going to disrupt the terrain a lot. Now, I really want to get the placement of this correct, because it's 1.5 million. So I want to flatten out terrain, know where I'm going to place it, and then pop it down, and hopefully everything will be all good. Alright, so I've just shortened that road just back a little bit. Going to grab the leveling tool here. I don't know. So we have our train station here. I want to shift that over just a little bit. We want to pick a sort of a middle point. This contour line here looks pretty good, so I'll just select that. And then we'll just bring this out like so. And I'll try to blend it back in once we already use up the space that we need. So once I put the actual university down, then we can kind of blend it back in to make it look a bit more natural again. Alright, so there's that. I'm going to get this road to continue down now. And opening this up is such a massive building, it's ridiculous. Alright, and it's so ornate looking as well. Wish there was like a tacky version of it, or a cheaper version, right? But yeah, that's basically where I kind of want it, I think. Maybe as far up as we can go, about there. But again, I think we'd have to just flatten a little bit more terrain then on the way up to there. And replot that road if we want the road to kind of follow that terrain. Sundrive Road. It's a nice... Oh, I must have named that actually, because it's where one of my best friends grew up. Grew up on Sundrive Road in Rush in Ireland. University, right about there. So it's pretty much tucked into the corner as much as it can be. So I'm happy enough with that. I thought about building a secondary street, you know, to push in and come out, but I don't think it's going to really have that much traffic on it. I don't think so. We'll see if I eat my words on that, but I guess we can always amend it in the future if we really needed to. Just going to bring this out just temporary. Again, this is kind of temporary. We'll shape a part of this road just after. So now what I want to do is go with a large road. So I feel like this will be a road that'll be quite busy, because my plan here is to connect it to the highway, or actually to, maybe better yet, start a big roundabout here as the end point for the highway and the beginning of the A road as we go further in. I think that would kind of make sense. Alright, so let's just push this a bit further across. It's actually nudged the zoning just slightly. I don't know why it does that, but oh well. Because I have it set to... Let's just turn a few of these things off just so we're good in future. Snap to zoning cell length and snap to the zone grid. Snap to existing geometry and give me a 90-degree angle. Don't really need much else unless I need to toggle stuff on and off myself. Okay, so large road. So we want to go with a 6-lane road. Now the idea for having such a big road here, I'm hoping, is to effectively put bus lanes either side of it. So I'm going to go to about there actually, because it might drop down in a sec. And would this make sense? Just trying to think about this out loud. Because I want shops to be on either side of it. But that's going to be touching the actual university. So hang on, I'm going to just go a little further out just again. And we'll see if we can just give it a tiny bit of spacing. I feel like some sort of alleyway or some sort of thing on the side there would make more sense than the actual main road going right alongside it like that. Okay, that continued our zoning across, which looks a little bit better. Right, we'll get that big road again. So how much zoning space would I really need? Now, do I want an alley or a small road? I'd say a small road along here would probably make the most sense. We go forward to something like that. Alright, so this is what we're given to work with. That's totally good. Then we've got our 6-lane road, and we have 6 zoning cells across. And we could just leave it at 6, actually, which I think would be a nice break between the two. So I'm going to go to about... Actually, I'll just only go as far as here. So we match that side completely. And now I'm going to start leveling off that terrain again so we create a more natural hill moving over towards the train station. Although, we should probably just break that road first and move this train station into its final spot, so then we can actually properly gauge where the train's going to have to go. So the reason I'm doing that, I just wanted to push it out a little bit further and kind of correct its orientation. We're kind of coming down at a nice, you know, parallel angle to this road, to the highway. So kind of want to keep that going. Not create this massive grid or anything, but to at least come down that way. And then we're going to hopefully link up this road here, Salford Road, in a nice bend around to here, and this one's going to feed into it as well, so it's going to get kind of busy over that way. In fact, I feel like... How much is this to move? It's not that much. It's 20,000, okay. Move that there just temporarily. The train's just sitting on the grass. And then we'll bring this one more straight down. I think that would probably make sense, or at least curve it down. Is that right? Or do we want to do 6 lane for that? We could do 6 lane for that. Maybe make that roundabout a bit bigger, seeing it has the capacity for it. And it's going to be a bit weird and bumpy or whatever just there. Actually, yeah. Hang on. Gonna have to cut that away. Right, I think I will do terrain first then. So we'll just blend that terrain like so, just for now. I'd say somewhere there is probably the limit of how far over towards the rail we can go. And then this has to just come straight up, 90-degree angle. So what's that, 416 meters? Pretty good zoning, although again, it created a little disconnect bit for some reason. Let me just see why that would be. Let's try that again. Zoning cell length, zoning grid, 90-degree angle. That's really all I need. Let's go to 424. There we go. Much nicer zoning on that. Curved mode now. Snapping in here. Trying to get that guideline back on so we can see the center of the roundabout. To get right in the center. That's pretty close. Turn it, angle it, and bring it straight in. Could be a bit of a better curve, but I'm happy enough with it. I think it's reasonable. 6-lane road. We're going to put the bus lanes either side of it in just a moment. We also have the 4-lane road that goes out to the industry that we want to kind of correct as well. So it's going to be the standard 4-lane medium road, and I'm going to turn on... Yeah, we've got snap to existing geometry again. Just turn off some of this stuff. Don't know if I can actually do this, but I'm hoping I can. So that's 180, and we're lined up. Into the side like that looks best, actually. So let's do that. Alright, that's pretty good. We're a little close to the rail, but maybe that's alright. Some trees in there should be okay. We could push the rail just a little further back, seeing as I'm moving the train station now anyway. And should this be a roundabout as well? I don't see why not. This is supposed to be a kind of a UK town anyway, so let's roundabout it up. Okay, so that's looking a lot better, I think. Now we'll just grab the softened terrain tool. Would like this to come down a bit further. Yeah, so we still have this nice hill. That's like we're still building with the hill in mind. It makes things a little bumpy, I guess, but it's not too bad. Could maybe go over that to straighten it up when we soften the terrain. In fact, yeah, let's try that now. So we're just going to cut this road and just soften the terrain in the middle. And it's like we've made a bespoke hill just for the road, which is exactly what people do when they're making roads. Alright, so that is our 6-lane snapped on. Want to keep the zones correct if we can. Nice, managed to keep the zones intact. Alright, good. That's like the most challenging thing of this game, I feel like, but maybe it's just because I'm a bit slow. Well, we just need to maybe flatten out that bit, just a little bit, and then blend it again. So that our hill is just a bit more gradual. That's all. It's still basically the hill that was there. I'm going to sound so apologetic now, like all the time. It's like, I promise you, the hill is still there. It is, though. Alright. Yeah, I would say the amount of earthworks I've done is quite reasonable in the grand scheme of things. Again, just don't want this massive, like, oh, not massive, but like a 3-meter incline right next to the road. So just kind of blending it just a bit further out so that the buildings will sit on it a bit more nicely. So just going to right-click that as the target, just flatten that bit there, right-click this as the target, flatten that bit, right-click here, and then we can just maybe do a bit of smoothing, broad smoothing across the whole thing. Okay, good. Cool, so that keeps the zoning intact. Now this bendy road here doesn't have correct zones or whatever, but I think that's okay. Alright, so that's what we're left with. Obviously I'm going to move that train station, but we have the university in place. We have a little road that comes in from that, so some student housing or something could maybe go in there, or just some shops. Actually, shops would probably be nice. But now we need to connect it up to the highway, get that rolling again, then we'll reconnect the rail. Alright, so my ambitions for this, I was initially just going to make it kind of a junction, but I think a roundabout would suit it a lot better. Just going to disconnect that highway there. How's our terrain blending all the way down to that? That's okay. I don't mind that hill being there. That's fine. We can handle that. Yeah, we'll go with the large road. Excuse me. Select somewhere in the center. Bring this all the way out. 90-degree angle. And if we turn on the guidelines, I'm looking to aim for the middle point, if we can. Yeah, there it is. The middle point of the highway just up above. All right, good. So that's our 6-lane road. Now we can get the very large roundabout. Slam it in there. 1500. Okay, and now we just have to bring the highway into that. We're basically on the ground with the highway, so it's going to have to come down just a little bit. Now, using our 2-lane highway, because that's what's coming in from here, we'll just continue with that. I wish it wouldn't shift the roundabout over, if that could be avoided, but it seems like it's just going to no matter what. Let me just turn off these things, turn on 90-degree angle, so I'm just going straight. Yeah, it's like it automatically just pulls the roundabout out to the left. Damn. Just to help us get that initial build going. This does the opposite thing. Now, bit crazy, but can we parallel into it from 2 that are aiming the same way? It actually won't let me even do 2 aiming the same way, but that kind of does work, actually. Great. Alright, so I didn't actually have to reverse that road. I guess I didn't believe that parallel mode would work going into a roundabout, but it does. So that's pretty good. So just flip that again. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. I mean, it doesn't look good when we zoom in. The geometry kind of breaks. It's just the shading, because it actually is quite flat. Now, what we'll need is a 3-lane. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just cancel this bit, or get rid of it. So I never liked this, right? It's the 3 lanes from a highway are going into a 6-lane road with a median between, and it was always a bit broken up, a bit messy. But hopefully we can kind of correct all that now by removing this and removing that. Now we're just going to continue the 7-lane road all the way out. 7-lane asymmetric road, 90-degree angle. You don't need zoning length and all that on, but it's no harm, I suppose. So let's just go, because I'm not going to be zoning onto it. Yeah, does that seem okay? Does anything change if we go further? No. Alright, we've committed to it. At least one thing's for sure, our road is nice and straight now, so that's pretty good. So, we've got 4 lanes on the way in. Whew. Yeah, it's not looking great actually, because I'm seeing a lot of broken connections in here. I don't know if that's a problem or not. But 4 lanes in, got 3 on that exit and 2 on this exit. I almost feel like... this should be a medium road. Oh yeah, because one was going to be reserved for a bus lane, but it doesn't need to be at this location. So let's say it's a 5-lane asymmetric. We'll upgrade this component here. Keep it in the center, I suppose. Is that really an issue for anybody? Put it on the left, and it would probably make more sense. Let's turn off this, and we can just put it where we need it to be. So basically keeping it on the left. Just want to straighten up the outgoing ones. Pretty happy with that. Okay, so now the idea would be that it hasn't really done what I thought it would do, which is we've got our 1 lane here that goes left. This lane is saying to go straight, and this one's saying to go straight, and this is for going right, but there is no right turn. So it's obviously for going around. Very odd. So one thing I think that was needed here as well is the highway needs a 3-lane entrance on this side, which is totally fine there. Yeah. Maybe it's just a case that this road needs to move over or something. Let's just see what would happen with the lanes. Would it change much if it was to be moved? No, it doesn't seem like it. I can't really think of what I've done wrong there, if anything. I mean, maybe nothing is wrong. The logic is probably fine. It's just strange not to see the road markings continue around, and why it says that one of these lanes is just for doubling back on yourself. Because the way I see it, you've got 2 exits there and 2 exits there, so there's 4 lanes. So this should be left and left inside, so like left and straight. Then this should be... this one should end up there, and this one should end up there. That's how it would be in real life, at least in the UK. But whatever. We'll see what people do if they're on the inside. Maybe that is what it means, but it's just marked it weirdly. Other than that, I actually really like the look of it from up here, and if I turned off those lane markings, I think it would look pretty great. In fact, let's just have a look at what it would look like just for a second. So go down to shaders, turn off the deterioration thing. That's what it looks like there. So I actually like the look of that totally fine. Except for, obviously, yeah, it's just so strange that it's done this here. Not forget the broken shadows or whatever. This little separate lane or whatever. One last thing then, just to play around with it. Hopefully people don't mind. Just what would it do if I shrunk that in? Shrunk it in further. And made it tiny. No, I'll just leave it the way it is. But yeah. Well, you know, let me know in the comments what you would do different to make that look a bit better. Or again, very last thing, just to see what the roads would do without committing to it. A 6-lane road just here. What would that happen? It's the same thing. It still does this weird line overlapping that's going on. Even if that was just 3 lanes going in rather than 4. What if it was 2 lanes, just out of curiosity? I don't even know how that would operate as a roundabout, but yeah, okay, well, there it is. Alright, so, anyways, the plan in here was then to do 1-way public transport line. We'll do the upgrade mode and set it to this side and to this side. So we got bus lanes on either side. Same with this one, and same with this one. Alright, super bright, but it works. I'm trying to think now as well. So this is a main road heading all the way out there. That could also have a bus lane maybe going all the way out. It brings you to the industry area. People said maybe at the, like, a train could take you out here. I just feel like it's quite a short distance. Like, one main road basically brings you there. So, and I don't think it's going to be particularly high traffic. If it is, then I guess maybe we could try to add in some sort of passenger stop here for the trains to pull into. It's quite reasonable. We could do it. And this rail yard is temporary placement. It's going to move eventually, so wouldn't mind doing that necessarily. Something else I wanted to just have a look at was this train station, right? So I know that cars go in this way to park. They go in here to park as well. And you can actually upgrade it to have a taxi stop in here, so then taxis can come in and come out that way, and cars might do U-turns in there. Station services add some restaurants and things in there, and then an extra platform. I'm just wanting to know that because I'm just wondering if I should have a separate road that comes into the station and then goes back out, or is it fine just to dump the station back onto this road? The only problem with that is you're creating a little junction, right, for people to turn. You know what? I'm going to go with the train station just like this because there is 2 lanes for cars to freely move past it, and there's the one reserved bus lane for people getting dropped in or dropped out or taking the turn in there. So I think with 6 lanes, it's reasonable to assume that there's plenty of space for them. So let's see, how far up would we want to go with this? I want to keep clear of that roundabout down to the bottom because the traffic might be piling up there a bit, so probably push it up a bit to about here. 15,000 to move it back in. It's actually not that expensive to move thinking about it, so it's not too bad. Right, so then the bus stop has been deleted since we took away that road. It's been shifted to the other side right now. So if we move it here, we've got this huge indent there, or now we get a huge indent here. We'll just get rid of the filter. And then what would a stop look like here now? Yeah, it's much shorter, which is, I think, just better overall. Now the taxis are going to pull in that way, so I would say somewhere here is good for it. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. And then we'll just move that line back over. It's really weird the way it's done it now, actually, but I guess I'll just leave that there for a second. Let's just push that into there. So that's stop for them. This node can go. And they're just going to use the roundabout to turn around right now. So yeah, I might have to obviously redevelop, like another bus line's going to have to bring people around. But this is the, effectively this is the Millfield line, the 44A. So the 44A connects Millfield. Well, actually, we could just have a look at it, can't we? It's listed in blue. Is there a way to get rid of all the icons? The color of the line changes because there's another line on top of it, which is always a bit weird, I guess. So you can actually hide that. Do this, and now we can literally only see this one line. So that's actually pretty good that you can do that. So bus stop's back on. Maybe I could turn off the actual passenger transport vehicles. There we go. So now we don't see the vehicles, we just see the stops. Yeah, so I suppose if you were to use this roundabout and come round, I'm wondering though, should we just not go back out here? Actually, yeah, go along the A10. And come back up somewhere. Can't cut in there because we're left-hand drive. That's just for people coming down that way. So instead, what I can do is drag one out to this way. Now we can see the redirected route. So we're going down, out, and then up, and then it goes around the roundabout and back into Millfield. So it's basically doing the same thing. I'm just not going up the road I came down. We can make an alternate route or something that handles it going north, I suppose. I should at least take the buses off the road. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be better or not. Anyway, we'll let it play like that for a while. If you have a strong case for it either way, let me know. But at the moment, I'm making alternate routes. I do notice that one of them just never gets anything on it, so there's that to think about too, I guess. Sometimes it seems like people are just going one way, although I suppose it depends on the time of day. Alright, yeah, so we want to reconnect the rail line back up here. This actually seems like it's not going to have to move at all. Seems like it's totally fine. I wanted to put trees in between here, and I thought maybe that would be cutting it a little close, but I think we'll just have to leave it. We want it to line up the way it's line up nicely. So a double track, a parallel track, smallest increment, starting on the left. Got our guidelines on, so we want a guideline to that one. Let's just go straight in and finish into those things. So we'll just turn off parallel mode just for the last track to go straight, because they're slightly more spaced apart than it seems. They divide up just a little bit at the end there. That hooked in really nicely. This one won't go in as nicely. We'll have to push things back a bit further. We're gonna have to do something with a riverbank in the future for sure. Okay. Right, double track, curved roads. Parallel me, please. And yeah, we want to line up with that one, right? 180 degrees, is it? It is indeed. And that keeps our curve consistent, I think. Then we go dead straight. And then I'll start to just separate them that last little bit. All right. Yeah, so let's just push that out. Oh, yeah, so we can actually get rid of this little sewage outlet. That's done now. We created a new wastewater outlet in the last episode, and we can remove that pipe. So that's gone, and that gives us a little bit more freedom to push this just slightly further out, and then try to blend it down a bit again. All right. That would be the bit of terrain manipulation where I'm like, yeah, that probably wouldn't happen in real life. That's quite a... that'd be quite a big move. But oh well, whatever. Okay, so I haven't planned this out really at all. Like, I knew roughly I was going to put the university there and this, but I never planned out that roundabout or this long straight road and how we're reconnecting. So because of that, I'm going... You know, normally I like to really plan ahead, which is one thing that slows me down so much with these videos, but I'm trying to just get better at the game and do things on the fly a bit better and just make initial decisions which are good. So, going to stick with that. We'll let time play in just a moment, but I want this to come further out. Just even temporarily. That's nice zoning we've got going on. Right, bring this all the way up the back. So, the thing would be, with the university, we have the library. Right, big old building that can snap on the back. We can't put it on the side based on where we've placed this. We could fit it on somewhere at the back. So what does it do specifically? Increases the student's chance of graduating. The dropout rate is 1%. Does that ever change? Is that ever influenced by anything? Studying in a school increases the citizens' level of education. Higher education makes them eligible for new job opportunities. Graduation times depend on the building's efficiency, their well-being, the school type, and some citywide effects. Excuse me. Dropout rates are dependent on the same factors. In addition, students may decide to quit if the school is too far away, their graduation chances low, or if they are too old, or if they can earn more money without a degree over their lifetime. Yeah, so that's quite interesting because people have brought that up, which is you almost want to tax the uneducated more to force them to stay in school to get a better education. So we could try that. Now that we've got a few, I'm going to bring this up to 12. We'll bring this to 11, and then 9, and 9. And let's just see if that helps. So it's kind of roughly the same. Now, it also is dependent on if there's just tons of jobs for that lower education, then why would they ever, you know, go to school? What's the point if there's no real jobs for them to kind of progress into? So something I'm planning on doing is over here, it just so happens that we've got the perfect spacing for a paper factory. A really big paper factory, and with all this woodland, that'd be great. Now I think wood has to be refined into timber before it can go into paper actually, but I still think it'd be okay, or I think it'd be worth doing. Now the only way we can do it, it's a specialized building. We have to get, there it is, and it's free to place down. Yeah, it requires just placing 4 extra forestry hubs. So actually I don't even think I mentioned this, but between episodes I redid this area, just slightly. So they have to re-level up. So there's actually a lot of people that... We used to have about 100 employees for each building. Now there's about 60 or 50. So they're ramping back up. The reason I did that was so that I could plant trees. Not that I think it makes any difference to the efficiency. I just think it would look better. Because we just had this like kind of more dense patch in the center here. And I'm like, well, it doesn't seem to be growing. Or they don't seem to be planting their own. So I just went over and planted everything myself. And then redid the area. Now I had to get rid of you can't plant while the zones are in effect. So that's why I was like, okay, I have to delete the buildings and do it again. Or just like trim them back. No pun intended. Anyway, the only difference would be that we've got one extra one in there. So I feel like I've already earned it, if you know what I mean. Because the amount of space that we've covered, but also I did place it that many times. I just didn't have them all existing at once, whereas I could have easily done that. So I'm just going to place 4, and then we'll just remove them. And then we'll get that building unlocked forever. By the way, the dairy farm, dairy house, seems to be bugged. That building is bugged, along with one other one, which is apparently ground earth. And it hasn't been fixed in the latest patch either, this one. Now, the effects might work. The ore deposit citywide, the industrial effect citywide, that might work, but no company ever takes ever rents the building. At least from what I can tell, at least from reading online, and people said that one and that other one. Apparently oil refineries have this issue, but there's a workaround for oil refineries. I don't know what it is, but yeah. Okay, alright, I think we're all covered. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to go with that extra graduation thing then, because our dropout rate is so low. And if we keep people happy, hopefully, we'll keep that dropout rate low. So the increasing the, quote, chance of graduating, I don't think should matter, because they should just... It says increases the student's chance, not the time. It says the chance. Extension wing then for more people, and the university park. So I'm not going to pay 95,000 upkeep just for an increased chance. That's fine. And this building's so big already that we'll use a future university to do that. All right, looking good. Not sure what we're gonna do along there. Parks or something. Oh yeah, we could just like fill that in with trees and like a nice path or something, and then maybe add a park in here just so to encourage people to actually use the area, because obviously trees and paths don't get actually used. And then I need to figure out what to do with this. I'll tell you what, we'll just maybe trim that. Bring this down. 90 degrees, hooked in, zones are all good. Alright, cool. So now we've got this big grid area, effectively, with a little bit of terrain misshapeness. We're not going to build a squiggly road like that, though. We'll just have to leave it as is and build around it. So I was thinking that we want mixed zoning. I thought that'd be good across from the train station, right? So the shops along the bottom, you know, shops along this road here, with living space up on top. Now, you can get all sorts of different sizes of this, but I was just going to go with the biggest. A 6x6 style of building, really. But I guess we could maybe work out the size of that. So it would be... Let me just do this myself, I guess. Right, so the plan is to use pedestrian streets for the in-between the shops, the high street kind of area. So to do this, I think starting from the center gives us a straight zone, doesn't it? And then we need to create 6 zones and then work out the spacing across each time. Can go straight up from here. Now, would that be a problem? Because that's right in front of where the taxis move in. It's like, oh, it means that it's not just left, right. Hang on, I'll explain what I mean in a second. Let's just pop that down. The reason I thought that would be good is because if there's a junction here, we're not just going now forward and then to the right. Now we're able to go forward and to the left without it being a separate thing just like straight after the junction or something, right? You'd think that that's using the same area. Now, how that works in the game for cars coming out, are they behaving the traffic signals? Probably not, but maybe it's alright. So I think actually I'll have to move that bus station just a little further down. And just feed that over into it. There you go. Alright, so there we have 2 pedestrian streets just like so. That has corrected our zoning up here as well. Nice. So yeah, this is, I mean, I'm very happy with how the zoning's been coming together, that's for sure. So we can have some extra normal houses in there. I'll be totally fine with that. Some pathway they can bring you in between. Certainly some parks I think need to be added up here. And parking. 3-lane asymmetric I think would help people at least get out. Might just make that the same the whole way down. Keep it consistent. Yeah, so they can go left or right or just right only. That's fine by me. And there'll probably be a lot of people crossing over to get in there, I feel like. They'll have a dedicated lane. Well, it's not dedicated to turning there only, but there is only 1 lane that can turn right, I guess, which is good. I do foresee maybe that getting a little backed up, how busy, depending on how busy these car parks get. So we've unlocked the overground parking building, which is great. It's 30,000. It looks cool. It's very big, actually. Wow, bigger than I thought. If I turned off snapping, I think I could probably fit it in there. Not that I'm going to. One thing I just wanted to mention about it, it's just it doesn't seem economically viable. But yeah, it would actually fit right there. It'd be nice to have, but that would be a terrible spot for it because people would be coming in and out there onto the main road. You'd want to flip it, I think, if you wanted to put one anywhere here. As much as I'd like to, I'm not actually going to build it though, because it actually costs 30,000 upkeep per month, and I think it has 160 spaces within it, and they've been upgraded with a car wash to improve people's comfort around you. So 160 spaces, 30,000 a month, and this is its overall plot size, which is it looks like it's around 12 across and about 12 deep, something like that. Now, a large parking lot, which is just an open air car park, has 160 slots. So it's actually got more slots in it than the overground. So it has more slots and it takes up less space, and it's only 7,000. So its costs are so much lower than this building would be. You know, like 3.5 times lower at least. And it takes up less space, and it does the same thing. So it's like, damn, you know, I want to use that, but funds are a little tight, space is a bit tight, so I'm just not going to. Now, definitely you're in the denser part of the city. I think this would be fun to use, and especially the automated parking building in the underground. The underground one's pretty good. It's like 200 something spaces. But the good thing there is it's a smaller plot. You know, it takes, for the amount of spaces, you can pay that extra upkeep because you know that they're going underground. Just connect this up like so. So it's kind of interesting. I've never done that before. What's that done? It's created sort of tiling to separate the areas. Yeah, I wonder, do cars do U-turns there? I mean, it says you can go forward, left, or right, but ideally these are pedestrian streets, so that shouldn't happen. Right, and we'll go back into our car park. Large car park, snapping on. Pop it in the middle. Ooh, yeah, you can see it's actually gotten raised because of the terrain differences here. That's maybe okay, because we're going to be masking a lot of it with a big building at the back here, or some buildings at the back. The problem would be, though, that our zoning, the way we're snapping onto things isn't the best. But I think that's the way it's got to be, doesn't it? So if we cut this, we have clean zones. But the buildings are going to build off from the sides now. Oh, man. It was looking so good. So that's effectively what we need to do. We could leave those gaps there, I guess, and put something else there maybe in the future. It seems like if you just shift it over, you could fit another one in there, but maybe not. But that should be fine. That should be fine. We can extend the, you know, using the texture grabbing thing, we can just pull some of the sides out of it. Are we fine with that? I guess we have to be. If we don't want to change terrain too much, we can leave that on a bit of a hill. Buildings at its back. I'll try and mask it any way I can. What about adding another one in then on the opposite side? So we have our contour lines turned on. We're going uphill again. Or rather, this one's going downhill. And maybe we can just create a bit of a pathway to kind of separate the two areas there. Balance the terrain a little bit. It actually did pretty good at kind of leveling it out just slightly. Yeah, this could fit here actually. So the post office would fit here really nicely because I think the, what's it called? The upgrade to it can actually slot right onto the back, or if not, it could go onto the side, but I'd like it to fit on the back. It's a 4x6, so we've got 4 tiles there to the right. But can we make it up to 6 before the road starts turning? I'm not sure. If it doesn't fit, I could just rearrange the road just slightly. I think that's a good spot for it though. So we'll slam it down there. Alright, moment of truth, I guess. Does it fit? Not that one. This one. Oh, it's so close. It's really, really close to being able to fit. So I might just shift that road over just ever so slightly. In fact, even if we just did an upgrade, maybe we could get away with it. So let me see. I've just moved it ever so slightly. Yes, it would fit. 15,000. Should we just do it? How much upkeep is it? Ah, it's 5,000. It's nothing. Let's get it in there. Alright, so a little bit of hilly terrain there, but it's not too bad. Maybe we could just bring... Actually, I'll leave it. We'll cover a lot of that up with trees and things, I think, in future. Alright, so as you come down, you hit your train station. We have a post office right here. We're going to have multiple parking lots for people to kind of get really in the weeds with before they get into the pedestrian areas. Then we're going to have a series of housing all around here. More housing in here. And then lots of mixed use housing and commercial in this area. So I think we'll just let some time play now. Let this place start to fill in. And then consider what other services and things we have to add in. I haven't added any extra bus stops yet, or the mail, actually. But I just kind of want to see some of these buildings come in. Hey, our first ones have come in. Oh, what a shame. So we have a nice corner piece here. Really like that, but it's slightly lower down than this. Don't know why that's the case, but just is what it is. Like, literally is what it is. I think it's designed that way. Fair enough. Wanted that to happen over here, but it didn't. Should we just leave it? It would be nice if we got that kind of wraparound effect, but I don't think it's going to happen. Oh, it's not going to happen because it's just a pathway here. It would need to be a road. Yeah, and there's not going to be a connection. Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, that's fine. I suppose we'll leave that. Some of our big buildings are in. That's the low rent. They can look pretty brutal, not going to lie. Yeah, let's just get these guys back in as well. So there. And there. These are getting taken up instantly, which is great to see. No issues. Right, let's continue our mixed zoning then. So, maybe we can force an increase to demand if we were to, for instance, build that paper factory. Or just provide a few extra jobs here. So we do have a post office. Maybe a couple little office jobs here would be alright. Administration maybe for the university, so to speak. Now, I've never really played around with the variants of these. Should we just go with the biggest plot and see what happens? 6 by 6? Let's make it some smaller ones, actually, which is kind of interesting. Let's just do that here. That might change, you know, maybe. Actually, that's quite a long plot. That's okay. Maybe another one there. We'll see how they kind of come in, see what it looks like. See if our bus starts getting a bit more use as well in this area. People are already here. It's great to see. Let's check it out from the beginning, right? So this is where we had our new roundabout. Does look like maybe there's a bit of a struggling figuring out how to get around it when they were coming down that way. Going around this way seems okay. He went all the way around. That car is fine. First exit, I'm sure, is fine. It's the ones that are going straight which I feel like are going to have the problem. And this guy's having a problem too. Yeah, this isn't... it's not ideal. Not ideal. Maybe these the highways are just a bit too close. I think I'll wait until read the comments of that one because I could get pretty stuck on it, or just a bit of trial and error on my own. Because I didn't feel like I did anything wrong, you know. We have the appropriate amount of lanes coming in on each side, I feel like. Well, there's 3, 3, and 4. 4 is a lot, but for the amount of exits, there's 4 exits, so I thought it would divide it up nicely, but you can see that bus is just stalled there, waiting to... I mean, it's just waiting at the roundabout, I guess, but it doesn't feel quite right. And now he's stopping here. Yeah, that's not good. You should never be stopping if you're on the roundabout. And now he's just... the bus just completely disappeared and people have bailed out. Yeah, that's not ideal. So we'll have to figure that one out. I'll have to do that again, I guess. Other than that, though, everything else zoning-wise went really well. So I'm quite happy about that. How many people on the train? 31. Okay. All right, so while we're just letting that continue to grow... I like these smaller plots, by the way. This is cool. Not a fan of these ones having turned sideways, though. No. It's turned sideways again. That one's correct. Maybe it's just a kind of a chance thing. I suppose no harm if we just... well, there's a little harm to it, but if we just delete them until they flip the right way. There we go. What's the big deal, you know? Same with this one. Maybe it just flips it every time you delete it. That'd be kind of nice to know if that's true. Because it's worked every single time so far. Okay, cool. Yeah, then we're going to have bigger ones in here. I don't really mind which way these face. So that'd be 4 there. That's 4, and then 4 again. Let's start with the 4 in the center. Bigger plot. Yep. And then that one as well. Cool. Lots of room for people to move in. Okay, so while we're waiting on that, the idea was to move this out of the way. But that's such an expensive move. It's 220,000. And then we have to move the car park, which isn't really anything. And then we can fit it in right here, this paper factory. And then they've got a road that can take them here pretty much, like, really quickly. Oh, by the way, I never named any of these streets. That's Salford Road now. So Salford Road is going to be really awkward. It's actually a complete wraparound. It used to be Main Street and Salford Road. Now it's just Salford Road. Should we just leave that, or should we call it Main Street? It sort of is the Main Street now for 2 locations, for Millfield and for Hawkstown. So I feel like Main Street's still a good name for it, but it's a little weird to be out here and be calling it Main Street, you know? But I can't say where the road begins and ends, so what can I do, you know? What can I do? Also, we fixed the plastic issue, right? That's gone. The not enough customers issue. The high resource cost is still there for rock. And for metal ore, and what do you have? Metal ore. Let me just check on metal ore really quickly, because maybe I never lowered that one. Metal, oh yeah, I never did. Alright, we'll bring that down to 8%, keep it in line with our other ones. So we have metal ore production up here, and up here. And yeah, they're not at level 5 yet, actually. How busy is this place? So you guys need a parking fee. I don't want people... Look at all these people coming in. They're just coming in and turning around here. Whack that up. Almost wish I could say no parking. Something else that would be kind of cool is a taxi stop. 7,000 extra upkeep a month. We said that we wanted it, so it's in there now. So where are you going, huh? What are you doing? No passengers, and you're driving in here. Are you trying to get parking in there? And he's just coming back out. It's like they're using it as a U-turn, but why would you want to even do that? What's your destination? 55 Park Street. Over there. Yeah, it's all these people are going to be moving in for the first time as well. So 30 a month. Oh, you know what? They might have been prioritizing that car park over these two because it was cheaper. And that's maybe why they were coming in and turning around and stuff. I think we'll just have to put up the money up front and make this turn. So, this building, I need to see exactly how big that is, because we're going to build another one of those. A wastewater treatment plant. Right. I'm going to literally put my finger on the screen and try to keep track of where that was. And go like this. I think that's where it was, so we can come in like here. Okay, hopefully that was correct. So let's just see. Yes, okay, those two of those would fit in there. So this could fit in somewhere like here now. It has to go sideways, that's why I built that road. Ah, I see. Okay, it's thought of that. So yeah, it's too close to the raised land there for the helicopters to take off properly. That makes sense, that makes sense. You got me. Alright, oh, it's such an expensive move to move it a second time after this, but okay then, at the very least we can do something like this for now. Have it go down that way instead. This is why you need to plan better than I am. Have it sideways. I feel like there would make more sense where the actual takeoff and landing is away from the road. So let's do it that way. Oh my god, it's an inch... Oh my god. It's an inch up for... It's a grid space away from what I wanted it to be. But I'm not moving it again. We don't have the money for it. And this could just maybe go on the inside then. Whatever. Okay. So, in order to build this, I'm going to have to put down 4 of these. Are they very expensive? I don't think they actually cost anything to place down. So that's okay. 1, 2, 3... and 4, and there we go. We've now unlocked the paper factory. Paper for all purposes. It's all made here. And now you guys, you've served your purpose. So that's the weird thing about it. It's like you don't need an active to keep them active. You just need to do it once. Now, I'm not one for gaming games very much, but I could obviously have just put down 10 within this massive area if I wanted to. But I chose not to. So I you know, I'm somewhere in the middle of it, thinking like, well, is it that big of a deal? Now, the only other thing would be this rail yard is almost in the way of that factory. It just happens to fit in here quite nicely, but a part of it will be raised. But I think that part will fall back down should we move the rail yard. Excuse me, sorry. So, yeah, I'm happy to put this down right now. And I think it'll just, in the future, if we move the rail yard, then it'll look a bit better. Alright, so hopefully some company will take this on board. And we get that 5% industrial efficiency citywide. We have to wait for the company to take it up. Now, in my testing, this building does work. I didn't test it in this map, though, or the save. So hopefully everything goes okay. Cool looking building, though. Very big. Your company ad here. Building's empty and available for rent. Please don't tease me with that. But yeah, in testing, that building has something like 600 open positions. So, you know, it'd be a big boon to the economy. Lots of people would want to move here, I would think, knowing how many jobs are available. Alright. Ashtrain Records. What do they make? They make media. Financial. Yeah, let's put down the rest of the offices. I don't need to be so coy about it. If we need to change them, we need to change them. No big deal. Let them zone in when they're ready. We have demand for it, so yeah. So I just zoned that. No one has moved in, by the way, to those ones. And the demand has just fallen right in front of me. Oh, I know why. Someone must have taken the building. Yes, that's what we like to see. So, boom. Oh my god, 1,058 positions. Way more than I thought. It's called Soft Ends. Requires timber, produces paper, and how many of what categories? So we need 264 highly educated, 529 well-educated, and 265 educated. And what's the exact amount? I always forget in this game because it feels a bit different to me. Yeah, I knew there was one below educated, poorly educated. But that's great, and more people are just going to keep taking this job. Everyone should work at the paper factory. And it's 80% efficiency already. Not enough employees, network quality. Oh yeah, that's something else I'd meant to put down here. Was the radio mass. 13,000, 5,000 upkeep. There's a position right here which I think would be suitable. And that gives it pretty good quality here. That should increase our efficiency of the building. Now the employees thing will keep... Yeah, it's going to be suffering a bit. But that -5 should go away in a minute. Yeah, the employees is going to keep getting worse as it realizes it doesn't have what it needs. Yeah, but the employee thing went away. Or the network quality went away, so that's good. And then by the industry itself. There's a massive facility here, but we'll just put one there anyway. Now, the question is, do we turn this on and will it get activated? Let's see. So still nothing. It has employees, and it never sends out fans. And it costs us a lot of money to maintain, so I'm just going to keep it off for a little bit. I have seen it work in this latest patch, but I don't know how to make it work, basically. But yeah. So you guys can let me know if there's something I'm not doing right. Because some people were like, oh, put down a post office. But now I've got 2. So nothing ever seems to get stored here and vehicles don't ever roll out. They should, in theory, go to the post offices and pick up a big batch of stored mail. Or sorted mail, or whatever. Ideally sorted mail, I guess, right? Take it there and ship it on the cargo train terminal. And vice versa, they should take in mail there. So while I'm waiting for people, we can continue our zoning efforts. That's that's low rent in there. Then we have the mixed shops and things over there. These are pretty much all full now, actually. That's great. So let's see how these all come in. There we go. That's a bit better, huh? Yeah. Nice. Big fat plots. Don't let me down. Oh, you let me down. Knew it would happen. There we go. Alright, cool. So that'll be a nice another big group coming in that way. Man, money is plummeting though. I haven't done anything other than add more people, it feels like, and money just keeps getting worse. But it can be dependent on the time of day and year also. Alright, let's check out the paper factory. So we're currently at 597, so we're almost at 600. So that's not too bad, although it did just go down a slight bit. 62% efficiency, mail handling, negative 10%. What's that about? Mail handling, negative 10%. There is a post box nearby. If I turn this on, will you handle the mail, please? Money is, oh my god, just draining. Yeah, I wonder what that's about. Because, like I said, there's a mailbox right there. So you'd assume they'll grab from that building, or that building could just go and drop its stuff in the mailbox. Do mailboxes get full? No, there's 0 stored in it. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that, unless it needs a thing, like, right next to it. Who's this guy? Walter Hooper. Educated adult, wealthy, a senior level employee. That's soft ends. It's returning. I must have been delivering paper somewhere. Do we have much paper in storage here? Yeah, 225 tons of paper, actually. Wow. I wonder, should I destroy any factories making paper out here? If we have any. I'd have to go through in between episodes and check for that. And then just try to encourage timber production, because they need timber. Although I'm sure they have enough. It doesn't say otherwise. Negative 4,500. That's not too bad. Wow, the money's fluctuating so much since that last patch. We were at negative 12, and I even left this building on, and now we're at negative 4. Now we're at negative 2. Okay, things are getting better. Maybe it's the people moving in. Oh, cool. Check out the blocks. Yeah, I love it. I think that's pretty neat. And like I said, in between episodes, I'll drag this out to make it look a bit more seamless, or just add some grass or something in. Well, probably not grass, probably paving, although there is grass in and around the back. Yeah, loving that. So there's tons of households now. Wow, they're getting taken up immediately. 72 out of 72. People are moving in. Oh, yes, money is in the positive. 2,000 coming in hot. I have no idea why. I'm sure it's just going to fall back down again for no reason. Reasons that we'll never be able to work out based on this budget panel. I'm guessing taxes are going to be... okay, well, that's good. Taxes are just going to start flying up, you would hope, based on all these new people moving in. We just took a massive jump there, actually. And it's February. Sweet. Anyone using this car park? We're getting a bit more money out of them for these two. We have a couple offices here. We have the post office. So again, these guys just need a few extra things. Like, I want to fill that in with trees and just some nice walkways and a few extra little houses that can be part of Greystones. Down here, we need to add in some services. But that's going to eat away at the little bit of... wow, we're making 12,000. What the hell just happened? We just started making loads of money. Did we sell some paper? Is that what we did? Dunder Mifflin style. I can't believe turning on the post sorting facility. Oh, hey, it's working. Maybe that's our big backlog. Everyone's able to cash their checks now and stuff. They're able to make bank that way. Great. Okay, cool. Well, at least it's working. That's all I care about. There's still nobody rolling out vehicles yet, but it says that it's sorting. Someone obviously dropped off 25,000 stored mail. And is that unsorted? Yes. So now they're sorting it at 57,000 per month, which is more than's even there. I don't know how they're doing that, but okay. Trains rolling in with nothing. It'd be interesting to see what it picks up to export. So it's loading up here in the top left. And it's leaving with nothing on it. Cool. Well, we have 6,000 stuff in storage now. Would it be nice to see them take some paper away and sell it? It does seem like for some reason this lane, these guys here are getting priority to go into the town. They're cutting across the lane that would be reserved for these guys, you know? There's 3 lanes here. This is straight, straight, and straight and right. So if you're in this one, you're going right, but they're ending up on the outer lane here, not on the inner one. The inner one, I guess, would take you all the way back around, I suppose. Seems a bit strange. That inner one should take you straight up on the inside lane here, or take you back out. That's the way it would really work. But because of this, everyone's just cutting across everyone here, and they're all getting totally backed up. So yeah, that needs a solution. I have to play around with it, though, because I could be here for a while trying that. The only other thing that I'm going to do is just continue the little forest that we have going down this way of the tree line, adding some, maybe the occasional houses I think could be kind of nice in front of the university. I've seen that in real life anyway. And have some pathways cutting in and around between them. Some nice bougier plots. I've noticed that this is happening at restaurants because it's February, which means it's Valentine's Day. So everyone's going to Nom Soba noodles, or almost meat, is it? Yeah, Nom Soba noodles. And hey, there we go. We're fine for money now. 2.5 milli in the bank. 10 development points and 15 map tiles. I think that's perfect because next episode then we'll finally start building our bridges across. But you can see the main problem, right? It's terrain. Terrain is just like a bitch. It's being a bitch. So we'll have to figure that out. But yeah, these buildings will have to be somewhat different, or maybe this will be down here actually, because it's not really working over there if we're going to have these corner buildings without anything at their backs. The only alternative is to cut them so they look more like these. So they'd be shorter and more up front. With no corner bits. That could work. Yeah, I need to play around a little bit. This is why I say I try to plan things as much as I can, but in order to get out episodes faster, I feel like I need to do less planning. But then I guess the quality of the city suffers, so it's really difficult. God damn. Just need to get better at the game. But yeah, still pretty happy though. Overall, we turned the city from, you know, not profitable into being profitable. People are still super happy, and we grew by about 4,000 population. So quite happy overall with it. I guess I get a little picky with certain bits of the layout that I'm trying to improve. So I'm gonna go start brushing up some of the trees and things like that, try to fix that roundabout, and then hopefully get the next episode to you a little bit quicker as a result. And then we can start planning out where the bridges are going to go across the city to get people across it, basically, to the other side, so we can start building up the density and get them up to an industrial area up here. I suppose, actually, in thinking about it, with the amount of map tiles we have now, we could just build that industry up there. As long as we got good enough connections to get up there, there's no reason that they can't start going to work there now. I don't have to wait for the future for that, really. And I'm loving this, by the way, this place that is just popping off on Valentine's Day. 7 p.m., you know, February 14th, I guess, constantly. And people are absolutely loving it. But it's getting quite busy in here, especially with the amount of taxis that we can see rolling around as well. Alright, I think that's going to have to be it. So thank you very much for watching. Please do leave me suggestions in the comments below. I genuinely just want suggestions, not just engagement. I like suggestions and trying to improve and see what people come up with. And yeah, that'll be it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
I know.